Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The Wicked Witch of the West is back. Of course, you know instantly who I'm talking about. Hillary Clinton emerges from the shadows and she's back doing her media tour. And guess what the topic is, friends? Well, after the last couple of weeks, as we've seen the Democrats have taken on the strategy of going after MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump as evil Nazi domestic terrorists, Hillary Clinton said, "Hey, that's my shtick. I'm the one who started this whole damn thing. You guys aren't gonna bask in the glory of going after Donald Trump and his supporters, otherwise known as the basket of deplorables, without me now, are ya?" And so Hillary Clinton, or probably Hillary Clinton's, I don't know, agent, publicist, whatever it is, calls all the major news networks and all the major events, and gets Hillary Clinton signed up for multiple appearances, because of course, as we know, Hillary Clinton doesn't leave the woods, doesn't leave her forest, unless it has something to do with Donald Trump. I mean, it's just completely crazy if you think about it. It's been 6 years, lady. You'd think at some point you'd get over it. That you're such a disaster, you're so incredibly unlikable, that people elected a risky, untested, orange reality TV show host instead of you, who then ended up becoming an absolutely fantastic president. You'd think that you would get over it. At some point you'd find solace, you'd find peace in your heart, but of course not. Hillary Clinton is filled with endless misery, and here she is projecting her misery, her hate, and frankly her bigotry on the rest of us. Once again, Hillary Clinton does her media tour, and you won't believe what she has to say. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, it was just too juicy for Hillary Clinton to avoid, huh? Hillary Clinton compares Trump fans to Nazis who were drawn in by Hitler, as she claims supporters at his Ohio rally performed a QAnon index finger salute. Trump camp called her attack pathetic and divisive. Take a look at this.
I remember as a young student, trying to figure out how did people get basically drawn in by Hitler. How did that happen? And I'd watch newsreels and I'd see this guy standing up there ranting and raving and people shouting and raising their arms. I thought, what's happened to these people? Why did they believe that? You saw the rally in Ohio the other night. Trump is there ranting and raving for more than an hour, and you have these rows of young men with their arms raised.
I mean, I'm selecting my words carefully here, folks. I'm not saying defamatory for no reason. That's exactly what this is. This is what Democrats these days do, and Hillary Clinton is a big part of it. I mean, like I said, she started the whole basket of deplorables nonsense that's since snowballed into semi-fascist and threats to our democracy and all the other nonsense with the MAGA extremist garbage that we're hearing. These people have completely lost the plot. It reminds me of that old movie from the 90s or possibly the early 2000s. The Scary Movie, that classic scene with Marlon Wayans, except I'll edit it a little bit.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure, man.
I see
MAGA Nazi Republicans.
It's an extreme level of Trump derangement syndrome. I see Russian bots, I see Nazis everywhere. It's essentially what it is. I mean, actually, here's a great example that I spotted on Twitter the other day. Here's a video from a Doug Mastriano campaign event in Pennsylvania.
And we'll do that by putting our right hand in the air on the count of 3. If you're willing to do this, can you say what they said at Gettysburg? When you see us lined up as one.
And as you can see, everyone in the crowd, just regular-looking folk raising their hands in what seems to be an oath or a prayer. An unhinged Trump derangement syndrome leftoid nutcase, Tristan Snell, copies the video and writes, "Yes, this is a Nazi salute at a Doug Mastriano campaign event in Pennsylvania in 2022. Democracy is literally on the ballot in November." I mean, what? Talk about fake news. Talk about defamation. Talk about just being an overall terrible person. I mean, there's two explanations here. He's either just a terrible person or a complete nutcase or possibly both, but this is the exact same thing that Hillary Clinton is doing. And one thing we know for sure is Hillary Clinton is a terrible person and a complete nutcase, so I guess it fits the mold. These people are legitimately unstable, unhinged. everywhere they look, they see Donald Trump's face with a little mustache. They've completely lost their minds. I mean, it's unreal. And it all started with Hillary Clinton. It started with Hillary Clinton's ridiculous, inflammatory rhetoric during the campaign, the dichotomy that she tried to paint, and then, of course, the upset victory that had leftoids go in a complete frenzy. And none of them, I mean, not a single one, has yet to recover. It seems to be an illness, a diagnosis, that in almost every single case is incurable and continues to get worse and spiral down for the rest of your life, for the rest of your existence on this planet. And Hillary Clinton is the poster child, or probably the better way to describe it, Hillary Clinton is patient zero. She just can't get over it. I mean, what she's doing is horribly divisive. It's clearly selfish. I mean, she pretends as if she's doing this for America or something, for mud democracy, but it's clearly selfish. It has nothing to do with America. It has everything to do with her. Her failed ambitions to reach the presidency, her inflated ego and feeling of self-worth, and her inability to just accept reality that people don't like her. People like Donald Trump's policies, but she, of course, cannot get over it. She just gave a speech at the Clinton Global Initiative, and this event, from my understanding, has, first of all, nothing to do with Donald Trump, but I don't think it's an overly political event. I mean, it involves the Clintons, so clearly to a certain extent it's political. But of course, during her speech, she just couldn't help but mention Donald Trump.
If you've been to CGI before, welcome back. I ran into somebody who said, "Oh, I'm so excited. I'm seeing people I haven't seen for 5 years." I think we all feel that way. You know, the last time CGI was held, back in September of 2016, a year that shall live in infamy, I think it's fair to say that the world was in a very different place. And people have asked...
You see what I mean by Hillary Clinton and her endless misery? She's so clearly such an unhappy, unfulfilled individual. She's so clearly scarred from her loss in 2016 to the extent or to the point where it's become toxic. It's become toxic for her. It's probably become toxic for many of her relationships and people around her. And it's certainly becoming toxic, or has been toxic, for the country. The Democrat loss to Donald Trump in 2016 has turned the world of politics, not only in America, but frankly, it's had almost a global, or definitely a Western, collateral effect. It's made politics so toxic and so crazy, which of course the Democrats would very conveniently like to blame on Donald Trump, but in the end, we really understand what's going on here. The divisiveness and the toxicity stems from them and their inability to accept election results. And there's one very clear reason as to why we're seeing Hillary Clinton show up once again with her unhinged conspiracies and her anti-Trump or anti-Trump supporter attacks, of course mixed in with the new DNC tactic of labeling nearly 50% of the country as MAGA fascists and domestic extremist threats to the nation and democracy. It's clearly because they're getting nervous. They're nervous, they're scared that Donald Trump, and of course his political stock, continues to rise. You can feel it, you can sense it. The same way you sensed it in 2016, it's the exact same thing. And so in their desperation, they're pulling out the whole bags of deplorable tactic, or bag of deplorables tactic rather, because they're clearly paying attention. Donald Trump is leading most of the hypothetical matchup races, and especially leading in all of the most important states against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton by a massive margin that continues to widen in the most important battleground states. Donald Trump is becoming more powerful, and it's petrifying them. That's why we're seeing the raid on his home and the endless investigations, and Letitia James pursuing her civil case into the Trump Organization and what seems to be now Donald Trump's entire family.
I am announcing that today we are filing a lawsuit against Donald Trump for violating the law as part of his efforts to generate profits for himself, his family, and his company.
It seems to be yet again another witch hunt. She claims they have evidence and testimony, but the entire thing seems to be built off of Michael Cohen's back, who clearly has a vendetta against Donald Trump and is clearly grifting this whole anti-Trump thing to, I don't know, become like a cringy TikTok political left-wing celebrity or something. I mean, just look at this. After Letitia James announced her lawsuit.
Did you guys just hear what happened here in New York? Tish James, our incredible New York Attorney General, has just decided that they are going to sue, that they're going to put out a lawsuit against Donald Trump, Don Jr., Ivanka, Eric, the Trump organization, for illegally and manipulating the personal financial statements, the taxes, the whole 9 yards. I mean, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so flabbergasted. But more so, I want to personally thank Tish James for mentioning me, for crediting me for the starting of this unbelievable lawsuit, this unprecedented lawsuit against a former president of the United States.
The whole thing is just weird. There's clear prosecutorial misconduct here, clear ethics violations, political bias, and conflict of interest. Might I remind you of this little clip right over here?
Donald Trump. That should motivate you.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the He's going to know my name personally.
I love it.
But again, folks, in the end, it all spells one specific word: desperation. And if these Democrats can't get something to stick, the Donald Trump comeback, the resurgence, Donald Trump versus the world, version 2.0, Donald Trump versus the world, man versus machine, the sequel, is clearly going to be the blockbuster of 2024. I can't wait, folks. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.